I'm the head of international trade at the GM Chamber of Commerce, and it's a pleasure for me to welcome you today to our ATA Carnet Bitesize session. And with me, I have today Catherine Hoggett, which is our International Operations and Quality Manager, and our ATA Carnet guru in the team. So she has more than 30 years of experience in the field. She works with exporters day in and day out, supporting them with a wide range of services, including the ATA Carnets. So for those who are not aware of who we are, I just wanted to give you a very quick introduction. We are the largest accredited Chamber of Commerce in the UK. We have over 4,000 members across all sizes and sectors. We provide a wide range of business support services, including international trade. We support both exporters and importers in every stage of their internationalization journey. We are, so I'm gonna allow you to, I'm gonna welcome Catherine, but before we officially do this, I want to just start with a quick poll about how you're finding trading after Brexit. So it's been now more than a year since we are officially out of the EU. So we welcome your feedback on this. Thank you very much. We're just gonna give a few minutes and I'll bring Catherine in to start the presentation. Right. I think that's it. Thank you so much. I think most of you are finding it still very difficult, which is great for us in the sense that we can feedback this to the government agencies that we work with. So now I'm going to stop sharing the poll, and I'm going to welcome Catherine so she can provide you with a high-level overview of what ATA Carnets are. When do you need them for? How can you get them? So welcome, Catherine, to today's session, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Susanna. Morning, everybody. Let me just close the panel. ATA Carnet, it's a temporary exportation document which facilitates temporary exportation if you're going to trade fairs, or if you're going working abroad, or taking commercial samples out with you. Can you have the next slide? So when you're taking things like that out on a temporary exportation basis, you have to also think about what paperwork that you're actually going to use to get them out there. And especially now we've come out of the EU, there's extra paperwork that you now have to start to consider. Where at one time, if you was taking items over to a trade fair, you would just be able to take them over. Now you need customs paperwork. So there's two options you could do. You could either take them over and complete your paperwork once you're there, which is very time consuming, or you can opt for one of our ATA Carnets, which facilitates all the paperwork all rolled into one. So there's no need to worry when you're over there. You can do it all over here. Have the next slide. So let's go through people who already use us on a regular basis at the moment. So give you a rough idea of what goods are taken out. So Bentley Motors have used us for many years. For example, going to the Swiss Motor Show, taking the cars out to the trade fair. Also doing advertisements on private roads, because cars can go over, but they have to be on a trailer. You can't just take a car over and drive it on the open road. So with Bentley, when they're doing all their advertisements, it's private road. Next slide. Also a company who does all digital projections, going to trade fairs, also going out to demonstrate to potential customers. So it could be like commercial samples and things like that. Concerts, open air events, all the visitor attractions. Next slide. We also do a lot of the sailing and the motor racing. So like GAC Pinder, they used to do all the yachts, the World Yacht Race. So we do many yachts and boats, and also people who are going around the world on a charity event use carnets while they're going in the boats around the world. Next slide. So what are the benefits of using an ATA Carnet? Like I said before, when you're going through customs, it's just one document that you pass into the customs officers. They stamp it, sign it, and that's it. So there's no need for you then to start going to a customs office, filling out loads of paper. You have to also consider that you may have to lodge duties with the customs and then claim it back on the way out. So all that is eliminated if you use an ATA Carnet. So it's like a simplified version of all the paperwork, just one single document. Next slide. So how do you apply for the ATA Carnet? It's quite simple. The details that we need are obviously the carnet holder, the details of the people who will be travelling with the goods. Although if you don't know at this stage, saying if you was taking it, if you was using an agent to do that for you, then you could list whoever the person was travelling with the goods at a later stage. We also need to know where you're visiting and where you're transiting through. Transits are, say, if you was travelling through the EU to get to Switzerland, but you weren't stopping in the EU, that would be you're transiting through to get to the country that you're actually visiting, which would be Switzerland. We also need to know the intended use of the goods, whether it's professional equipment, i.e. tools of the trade, if you was going to a trade fair, or if there were commercial samples. And finally, we'd need a list of all the goods that are being taken. Now, it's not like a packing list. We don't need to know how it's packed or anything like that. We just need to have an itemized list. Anything electrical, serial numbers. So if you're taking a TV over to a trade fair, we need the serial numbers. We need the weights and the values, and also the countries of origin of all the goods. So it's quite an itemized, comprehensive list. You can't have like a box of, we'd need to know what was in that box. Next slide. So the cost of the carnet, there's two costs to a carnet. The firstly is the Chamber of Commerce issuing fee, and the next is the security against the carnet. If you remember when I said previously that when you got to, if you didn't have a carnet, you'd have to lodge duty with customs, then you're doing it all in effect here in the UK, so you don't have to be bothered with that when you're over there. So the security is based on a percentage rate which each customs have set on the carnet scheme. For example, for the EU, it's 40% of the value that you would have to lodge here with us. Now, there's three options that you could do to lodge that with us. You don't have to give us the cash or anything like that, but it is an option. If you prefer to do that, we do have a holding account where we would say this is the X amount of security that we would need. You would lodge that with us, and once you come back to the UK, surrender the carnet, everything's been completed correctly with it, then we would reimburse you with that money. There's also another option where you could go through your own bank, and your bank stamp and sign a guarantee for the X amount that is held with the chamber until again you surrender your carnet. Once everything's been found to be correct, we would then pass that back to your bank to be cancelled. Another option which many people use is we've got an in-house guarantee with Aviva, who will guarantee you for the X amount on a one-off payment to them. Next slide. Now, to apply for the actual carnet, we have an online platform. The email address is, the website address is on the bottom of the screen, but I think we'll be sending you a copy of the slides for you to get that off anyway. So you need to register on our eCert platform. It's quite a simple registration. Once you've put your details in, the chamber will get notification. Once we've got notification, we can activate your account. Next slide. Once you're in eCert, it's quite a simple application process. You just follow the screen, and there's also information on the side of the screen on what needs to go into those boxes. Once you've applied for the carnet, we can then issue the carnet for you. So this is just touching on carnets for the future, which was delayed rather with COVID, etc. At the moment, we're rolling out an electronic version of the carnet, but this is only through Heathrow. So if you are interested in being part of that pilot, and you will be going out of Heathrow, please contact us and we can get the ball rolling for that one for you. Next one. So there's quite a lot of changes that happen regarding anything international wise. So if you sign up to our international brief, then you'll be up to date with that. Follow our trade team Twitter account and sign up to the eCert. The details are on the screen for you there. Susanna, will we be sending them the slides?
Yes, we will be sending the slides and as well recording of this session. Is it? Yeah. Right. So thank you so much, Catherine. This was a very high level overview of what ATA Carnets are and when do you need them for. So at the moment, if you have any questions, I think there is one question on the chat box. Matt is asking, do you need to provide a commercial invoice for customs as well?
No.
No.
All you need is an itemized list, which will be transferred actually on the carnet document. That's all you would need.
Obviously, we have so many customers and because we are now out of the EU, one thing that we have noticed is obviously an increased number of companies using ATA Carnets when going to the EU, especially for Germany with a lot of the trade exhibitions. But not only that, we also have noticed that universities or research centers have started to use us as well for taking equipment, whether that's a laptop or any other thing that you're gonna use like for researching or commercial purposes. And that's been important. One question that has come up quite a lot is, do I need customs or an ATA Carnet if I'm taking my equipment or my, my commercial samples and my luggage? So Catherine, what did you say to that?
At the moment, if you are traveling through France and you are taking something on a commercial capacity, i.e. you're taking it over to work with, then the French customs are insisting that you do use an ATA Carnet. If you anywhere else, then I would suggest that you contact the foreign customs in advance to see if they will accept you to go in, or if they will insist on you having an ATA Carnet, or for the first time that you go, get an ATA Carnet so that you are covered, and then you know for next time.
Thank you.
Because at the moment in the EU especially, different customs offices are dictating different things, and the only concrete one we've got is the French customs, who will only accept an ATA Carnet.
So in terms of taking the equipment and stuff on their hand luggage is the only authority that is kind of requesting.
If it's for a commercial capacity, obviously.
Okay. Well,
not if you're traveling.
Our line of advice or guidance here is that if you're taking anything that is going to be used commercially, is that you do check and make sure that, depending on what's happening also with the commercial or with the goods that you're taking, whether you need a customs paperwork or an ATA Carnet. We have two more questions. One is there Carnet a physical document that travels with the goods, or is it an online electronic type thing?
At the moment, it's a physical document that travels with the goods. Like I said, there is a pilot scheme where there is an electronic version, but you still have to have the paper version alongside it because it is a pilot scheme, and it's only being done via Heathrow Airport. So if it's something that somebody would like to pilot, then if they want to contact me, I can organise that.
We also have another question. If it needs extending, do you need to notify customs in the country you exported to?
Carnets are valid for 12 months. When you go into a country, they will stipulate when they expect you to come out of that country, actually on the carnet. So although the carnet is valid for 12 months, French customs could say you're only staying for 6 months and you have to be out by 6 months. So if you want to stay longer, then you need to speak with the French customs and tell them why you want to stay longer, and they will extend that then to the full 12 months. If you want to stay longer than 12 months, then yes, we can do a replacement carnet, which will extend it for another 12 months, but it's the same process again. You'd still have to apply for a new carnet, but we would cross-reference it to the first carnet. There are certain countries that you will need to get permission to stay longer, but as far as I'm aware, the EU at the moment, it's looking okay. People are being able to do it.
Thank you, Catherine. Another of our frequently asked questions is, I'm taking some commercial samples to a trade exhibition, and some of these goods that I'm taking, I'm giving away. Is in this case, can a company use an ATA Carnet, or do they need to consider another route?
For the actual goods that you're taking for the trade fair, you can put on the carnet. Anything that you are giving away, you don't put on the carnet. You don't put any consumables on the carnet. So if you're taking like cleaning equipment, you don't put that on the carnet. If you're taking pens or cups or brochures, you don't put those on the carnet. Only things that are coming back, you put on the ATA Carnet.
For the things that are not coming back, what do they need to do then?
They will need to probably do customs declaration for those items, but it depends on what country. There is an allowance. I think in most of them it's up to about £1,000, if I'm right, where you are allowed to take promotional items in. But yeah, we need to obviously have a look at the value and everything, and we do have a customs declaration service as well, which we run side by side the carnet.
So make sure that you do check with us and let us know exactly what are you taking, what you're planning to return. So we can help you and guide you through what is the best possible route to do this. Another of the frequently asked question is, what happens if, I'm taking an equipment that after, and it's gonna, go to another country. It's a temporary export, but it's gonna have some change into the product, but then it will be returned to the UK. Is that something that an ATA Carnet can enable?
If you're taking something out which is going to be changed, no. Everything that goes out on the carnet must come back in exactly the same way.
Brilliant.
There are some times that it's allowed. For example, if like say a stunt car. So if you're filming and you're taking a stunt car out and that stunt car kind of gets damaged and a wheel falls off and whatever, as long as it comes back like with all the parts, then that's fine. But if you're taking something out to be modified or changed in any way, then no, you can't put that on a carnet.
In those cases, then we recommend that that you may consider a special customs procedure. It depends on how regular you're gonna do it. It will be an inward and outward processing type thing. So again, make sure that you seek advice before exporting, so you know what are your options are. Do we have any other questions from the audience that we need to address today in the session? I'm just gonna give it a few more seconds. I don't think we have any other things. What would be your, just to kind of close, this is a short session. What will be the top tips in terms of how to, do the ATA Carnets, how to do it, and to make sure that, things are in line with regulations?
Well, firstly, log on to our online portal. Once you're in there, it's a simple registration process. The application is quite simple. What most people have the difficulty with is the actual list of goods. So as long as the tip is itemize everything, don't try and bulk everything together. Say it's a box. Don't put consumable items on. Don't put things that are not going to come back. Try and give it as much as a description as possible. So if there's any serial numbers, identifying marks on it, make sure you have plenty of time to arrange the carnet, just in case we do need more information. So you're not applying for it in the morning and you actually flying out in the afternoon.
Thank you. I think I have a couple of more questions actually here. Do non-commercial items like service engineers tools require carnets? I think we did answer that earlier, and the answer is yes. You do need them. This is another of the increasing ways why we are seeing an increased use of ATA Carnets. People that are doing work overseas on a service basis and they're taking their equipment, absolutely, they need an ATA Carnet now. And as I said, even universities who are taking laptops for research purposes or whatever that is, or any other equipment, that is required to have an ATA Carnet, as long as obviously there is no massive change to the item. The other thing that I just wanted to kind of complement is the fact that at the moment the team is seeing a huge increase of ATA Carnet requests. We are working within a 24 to 48 hour kind of turnaround. But if your carnet is urgent, please do email the team so we can tell you whether we can or not, meet your requirements with like a shorter period of time. We will be introducing a new premium service. Will be a shorter turnaround in the coming months. So if you are interested, just kind of sign up to our international newsletter or email us so we can keep you on the loop on that. Apart from that, we just another big tip is do not leave it to the last minute. Make sure that you're contacting us with plenty of time, especially if you're new to using our services, so you get used to the user platform. It's very intuitive platform, as Catherine said. All the instructions are on the side. It tells you what to do box by box, but there are occasions where there are issues, and obviously you need our team's help. So make sure that you do try to do it with plenty of time, so you're not rushing with the goods, especially with the exhibition and especially on peak times, because the team will be busy and it will take longer time for us to kind of get back to you. I think this is it. We have some of you already answered the survey, but if we can bring it back, I don't know if it's possible, Amy, just to finish today's session, and hopefully you'll get the email following up with the link and the slides in the next couple of days. I think that's it. I cannot see any more questions. Right, I think that's it for now. If we have any more people wanting to kind of give us feedback on today's session, that's great. I don't know if anybody can come back to the poll. Right, I think that's it for now. Okay, so we're just gonna leave it with the people that reply. So I think, thank you for your feedback.